Hey viewers!
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel.
I messed up.
Today we are doing the spicy noodle challenge. We are going to be eating the spicy noodles while answering questions that you guys have left on our video. So Nuba's gonna be eating fruit because there's no vegetarian option. Right now we are boiling water.
Don't do that.
What a cute setup by Haley Tran.
Grab the whole thing.
No. I'm scared.
Did you cook it enough?
I think so.
Looks kind of firm.
It has this, I don't know what this is.
Do you want me to explain it? It's cereal, almond milk, blackberries, and nut butter because this is chicken flavored noodles and I like being vegetarian.
I have the classic spicy and
This is like the carbo one. Comes in the pink package, but it's the same brand.
let's get it. I'm gonna pull up some questions while I eat this. How did you decide where to apply to college?
Ooh, that's a good one. So basically, one thing was that I applied to like most of the California schools, like UC's, USC, and a couple safety schools in California because I love California, didn't really want to leave. And then on the East Coast, I mainly applied to more selective colleges because I knew that if I was gonna leave California, I wanted it to be worth it for like a good college, not just some safety schools.
I think like one very big factor that played into me like choosing colleges is like the flexibility in terms of like when you get there, because I know some schools are pretty selective in like getting in a major and you can't really like switch, and so I wanted something that'd be flexible, especially if I didn't want to pursue what I originally put for my major, and if I wanted to take a lot of intersectional classes or explore multiple disciplines.
I can barely talk, but for where I decided to apply to college, I thought it was really important to tour different types of colleges. So one of the first colleges that I toured was Pomona, which is very small. The number of students per class is probably like only 1,000 or maybe less than that. I just remember it was very small, and I remember touring the campus, and I don't know, I just didn't really vibe with the student life there. So that kind of helped me realize that I didn't want to necessarily go to a really small liberal arts college. I toured UCLA, and that's like the other side of the spectrum. It's a very large school. I really liked that there was a vibrant student life there with lots of clubs and organizations that people were really involved in, but at the same time I didn't think I would get the kind of like personal advising that I want as a pre-med. And then I toured the East Coast schools, so like the Ivy Leagues. I think touring colleges, not just like high name colleges, but different types of colleges, different sizes, different types of curriculums. Like for example, I toured Columbia and realized that I didn't want to go to school with a core curriculum. So that's kind of how I decided what kind of school I wanted to apply to.
When you read descriptions of schools online and you hear about them, it's very different from being on campus and
agreed.
seeing how student life functions. So I would say there is value in it, but like don't feel obligated to visit as many colleges as you can.
Look at your local.
And like, because some of them are like pretty similar, right? So you can kind of gauge from that.
A final addendum to this question is that what?
Hi, I'm a dictionary.
Short tangent. Download the word of the day app. I really like it. Anyways, back on topic. Also, when you're deciding where to apply to college, a lot of people need to consider like financial means. So be realistic with like what kind of schools like you could actually afford and pay for tuition
and the opportunities for financial aid.
Yeah, and scholarships. Don't let that necessarily discourage you from applying to good schools.
There are merit scholarships and there are ways to fund
I'm
your
just
education.
sticking my tongue in the eye.
How did you figure out which programs were good, which atmospheres were good, and which extracurriculars were good? Okay, so let's break this down into the 3 parts. So first one is, how'd you figure out which programs are good at which schools?
I feel like a lot of it is like word of mouth, what other people say, talking to students. Like when you do go tour the colleges, you can talk to the students there, talk to some professors there, but there's no really like right or wrong answer for this. I think it's very subjective.
I think during tours, they usually emphasize what their university is like really focusing on. I think when I was touring Brown, they focused a lot on the chemistry department, which actually is pretty accurate because I think our chemistry department is very strong.
Also for programs, right? Like a lot of them are like multiple double major, or they take from a lot of different interdisciplinary things, but also like you don't have to be in the program to take classes from those maybe like 2 disciplines. So like even though the programs are great, sometimes they can be too restrictive, so you always have the opportunity to take classes in other areas that you want.
And something that I didn't do but I highly recommend you do is look up the schedules for classes and when they're running, and try to go visit colleges when school's in session so you can sit in on classes. I think the professors are, and how they teach, and the lectures and how they go are a pretty good representation of how strong each department is.
And I think that's a good segue into the atmosphere, because when the school is in session, you can see like, are the students hanging outside a lot? Like, what do students do in their free time? So if you want to go to a school where it's always like bustling, there's always people everywhere, you'll know when school's in session when that's happening. Like for example, USC, like there's always people studying outside, it's always super lively, a lot of people walking around, and I love that about USC. But like I was touring other colleges where it's like they're more colder climates, and I feel like people are indoors a lot more.
Yeah, East Coast and West Coast schools definitely have different like vibes during the school
Let's
year.
contrast, because
That's West Coast schools. So May
It's
and
always
one of
sunny
my,
out.
May and one of my other friends visited USC, and the one thing that both of them said was, Anuva, there are so many fruits and vegetables in your dining room. And I was like, you guys don't have produce?
The winter on the East Coast, there's less students outside, and yeah, when you're on the West Coast, like students are always outside having
yeah, people are always like studying on the grass, and even like there are a lot of people in the library, but the outside space is also study space.
I love studying outside.
I'm crying. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I can't finish my sentence.
I'm just eating this cereal.
Which extracurriculars were good?
What does that mean?
That's like,
That's like a personal thing.
Yeah.
You just gotta apply to a lot of things your freshman year.
and don't be afraid to apply to a lot of things. Okay. This
Oh,
is
they meant
kind
in
of-
college.
This is kind of like advice. So for me, I wish I applied to like bigger organizations, like ones that were more like that had a more social side to them, because I feel like a lot of the clubs that I was in my freshman year were kind of like meet once a week, do your thing, and leave. So I didn't really get to bond with the people in the clubs. So like one of my goals for next year is to join bigger organizations so I can like make more friends through that. So one thing that I'm going to say for freshman year is, if there's something that in high school you maybe wanted to try and were too scared to do, just do it in college, because like truly nobody knows who you are. Like nobody has any like preconceived notions about you, any judgments. Just join those clubs. It's easier to drop clubs than join clubs later in the year.
Honestly, there's so many just weird and cool clubs
Yeah.
in college. The amount of organizations is so much more than high school. And so even if you don't want to be that involved in the club, but you want to go to some of the meetings and get some of the events and just learn more about it and meet new people, like that's completely fine. I think like don't take your like organizations like so seriously, especially if you know don't get in or anything. Like there are a lot of different ways you can be involved on campus.
Everything is application based, so
Yeah.
you kind of have to over apply, apply to like more things than you would actually commit to, because you're probably not going to get into everything, which is totally normal and fine.
And again, it's easier to drop clubs than to like join them later on in the year.
Dude, you're beating me.
Oh, this is a good question. How did you decide where to apply early? I'm probably gonna make a separate video on this, but
Girl. So I was this close to eating to Johns Hopkins, like literally the day before. I decided not to. And the reason was because like a lot of my friends were eating, so I was like, okay, like I feel like this is like the right thing to do, the right path to go down to like secure that good college. But in the end I realized I was eating because I felt like I had to, not because I was in love with the college. And like to be honest, I hadn't even visited Hopkins. I'm the type of person who likes having choice, who likes being able to think through all of my options. So for me, for my personality, ED was not the right choice, but it's just make sure that you know 100% that you're willing to commit. I also hate commitments.
So personally, I knew that I wanted to go to Brown and I wanted to ED, but the only thing holding me back was like my parents saying that I could do better.
Oh my god.
It was just, I don't know. And like my parents were saying that if I ED to Brown and I got in, I wouldn't ever know if I would get into other schools. In hindsight, I'm kind of glad that I didn't ED, not because of the reasons that my parents wanted me to not ED to Brown, but because I just didn't prepare ahead of time for my early application schools, and I don't think my essays for Brown would have been very good if I did submit them early. If you're applying to a school that you really want to go to early, just make sure that you're confident in your essays, because even if there is a slight boost in your chances of getting accepted early, if your essays are not up to par and not what you think is your best, then I think you should just submit them regular. A lot of admissions officers say if you get in early, you would have gotten in regular, which is true to some extent.
I think there are some schools who really, like, their demonstrated interest in applying early is very important to them.
That's true.
Like, some of the acceptance rates just, like, plummet. But that doesn't necessarily mean, like, the only way you can get in is to apply early. Like, I mean, what I just, like, I applied to some more, like, likely schools. And then I applied to my, like, far reach school. And so I still felt like I could, you know, like, apply places but that wasn't, like, completely out of my league. That sounds weird. But like, a lot of schools have early programs that aren't binding, so like make sure to look into those and like just understand the difference between like EA, REA,
because REA doesn't really have a boost in like admissions chances. You have to think about it in terms of, if I don't get into any other school but I get into this school, I'll still be happy going there.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like your #1 dream school, but you're applying there early because they have a higher admissions rate for earlies, you should still really want to commit there if you got in.
Like, it's a huge what if factor. Like, what if I got into other schools, of course, and like what if I don't want to go here. But I think you just have to look at, first off, like, you should create yourself a timeline. Like, if I applied this place early, when would I get these things done? Like, how would I fit in my regular? Because I think that's really important in the quality of your essays and just the timeline of, okay, what happens if I don't get in early? Like, will I be ready to have all these regular applications done, right? So it's really important for you to set a timeline out for yourself.
What do you think is specific and special about your school?
Whoa.
That's like not generic.
I mean, everyone will have a different answer. You can answer it personally.
Like, we can just say what we love about our colleges, I guess. I would say,
I didn't even do the actual challenge. I drank water the entire time. I'm sorry.
I would say I like the vibe of the students at USC. Like, I really feel like USC is a work hard, play hard school. Like, the people that you see like partying all the time, like, they are also probably doing well in class, which is good. It's a good model to follow. Also, I just love like living in LA. Like, honestly, it's so like open and expansive. The campus is beautiful. Like, I just love walking through campus, sitting outside on a couch, just like studying. Like, it's just so nice. And then like, downtown's really accessible. I love going to cafes, exploring the food scene. I feel like this is just a transition from high school to college in general, that because you're exposed to people of so many different backgrounds, it just completely opens your eyes to like the world around you. Like, meeting people from all across America. Like, my best friend in college lives in Oklahoma, which is completely different from the Bay Area. Shout out to Pallavi if you're watching this. But yeah, it just like opens your eyes to different backgrounds and learning about their cultures, their values, and just seeing that your life that you've been living for so long, you thought like this was the only world around you. It's not. There's so many different cultures, so many different perspectives.
I really like that Brown changes you.
Okay.
Oh shit.
People always think that changing as a person is negative.
What are you saying?
You know, it's like people comment on videos like, oh, you've changed, I miss the old you. But I think the way that Brown changes you, and especially in your first year, is really positive. It sounds really idealistic, but I don't know, I just think people really encourage you to think beyond yourself and your own upbringing, to consider how you should help others with what privileges you have received. This is such a Brown answer. I just feel more inclined to be more socially aware, more politically aware, and conscious of, you know, what changes are happening in this world, and actually putting in effort to be a part of change. I don't know, everyone's just super chill. Like, students at Brown are not stuck up about being knowledgeable. Comment down below if you think I should apply to be a campus tour guide.
I feel like you're gonna cut that.
I feel like you're not.
I feel like you're not.
Let me know if you guys think I would be a good campus tour guide.
I have I don't know, these are personal reasons. Of course, there are like a lot of reasons why people love Stanford, but I think coming into Stanford, I really thought people would be very, I don't know, gung-ho about their accomplishments, and it'd be very apparent the level of intellect, like comparative to other people, especially if someone was really good at one thing and stuff like that. But I think first coming into the community, there was a lot more humility and just like openness than I expected. And you really don't like something that me and my friends always said was that like you would just be talking to someone and just like talking to them regularly and like having a good time and being their friend, and then you discover this like amazing thing that they're really good at and really passionate about, or this amazing thing that they did in the past, and you like completely didn't know when you were talking to them, but it made it all the more special just to like find out in that way and not have them like present it to you like at first when they meet you and like just like put their accomplishments in your face. And I think that was really important for me because it showed that like, you know, your past in some way defines you in terms of like what you're passionate about, but people come to Stanford for like these new opportunities and these new a new place to meet people. And I think that was important for me, just to see that these people aren't like just on this like pedestal of like accomplishment. They really do care about connecting with others and generally getting to know you, and then you'll learn these crazy like amazing things, and like these amazing things you can learn from others. And that was really like cool for freshman year. And it really, I learned a lot about myself, but like I learned a lot about other disciplines and other interests from other people, and that made me like open up my perspective.
Kenny says, I was wondering if you could share some college essentials that you absolutely need for college.
Okay.
Thanks, and thanks for the video. Thank you for watching, Kenny.
Thank you. My college essential would be my microwavable egg poacher. From Bed Bath Beyond, I bought this microwavable egg poacher in which you crack an egg and you add a teaspoon of water.
So excited
and
about
you put
this.
it in the microwave. And I literally made avocado toast.
So
like,
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really LA.
But like, that's not my true essential. What would my true essential be?
Dude, bring shower sandals.
Oh, well, yeah.
The
if you
floor of
live
the
in, like,
shower
dorm
is
style.
disgusting.
If you're going to the East Coast, bring a hair dryer, because I didn't.
Wait, what?
So I would have wet hair after I showered, and I went outside and my hair
froze?
literally froze.
That's
So
really
bring a hair dryer.
I'm kind of a sentimental person, and I wanted to send my friends like letters and like Valentines and stuff, but I didn't have envelopes. So I
Bring
had to buy some
utensils.
envelopes.
Oh, bring a water bottle.
Oh
like they know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Bring a water bottle. Bring a reusable water
Bro,
bottle.
stay hydrated. You gotta
You're
stay
gonna
hydrated in
appreciate the
college.
hydration in those times where you're in the
No, no, no.
library, you don't know where the water fountain is, and you're just like, thank goodness.
Okay, this is from Jessie. I love to hear your opinion on how to decide what to major in, what career you want to
Oh
have.
my god.
I think a lot of it comes with time. Your freshman year, you kind of just have to take courses that are out of your comfort zone and just commit to them and try your best and see if you like it. That being said, even though figuring out what you're interested in takes time, you have to actively pursue different things. I kept on saying like, oh, what if I want to pursue a career in CS or design? And I just never, yeah, it's still ongoing. But the thing is, I just never looked into it.
So she takes a class at Stanford. Sometimes you just discover it though, right? Like there are a lot of like speaker series events and a lot of just like conferences.
Yeah,
for
go to
people
events, go to events.
And just because you don't know anything about that, like just going there and listening to people who are very experienced in the field talk about how they got there themselves in their career, it's very helpful and empowering at times. And so I think just going to events, not being afraid to explore that.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to go alone, because I missed out on a lot of events I really wanted to go to because I didn't go.
There were places where
my friends
like canceled on me, and I was like, well, I can't go alone. But like, you should go alone.
Go to poetry readings.
So I think freshman year is also a time you can really explore, because like if you change majors or something, or you decide you want to pursue something even deeply, then freshman year is a good place to start. Taking those small classes that don't necessarily contribute towards your major, but they're like low risk, but they also, you know, like go very deeply into a certain topic that you have no clue about.
I think a lot of colleges allow you to take one class per semester, like pass, no pass. So if you genuinely just want to take the class for your interest, for the sake of learning, take it pass, no pass.
Should we answer one more?
It's a
Just do like quick,
advice.
like one word things. Like,
Yeah, like quick takes.
Oh, one word to describe your freshman year.
Discovery.
adaptive.
self-questioning. Is that even a word?
Introspective. That's what.
Introspective. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna end the video here because my brain is fried. We're not gonna see Haley for like 2 months. She's gonna be in Minnesota
with the cows.
And someone from Minnesota is gonna comment.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below with video suggestions that you want to see from me, and also please let me know what kinds of videos you like seeing. If you like advice videos, vlogs, or mukbangs, or if you like videos with my friends or videos of me talking. Okay, we're done with this video. See ya. Have a good bye.